Sometimes in evaluating your eBay reselling business, you have to think of ways outside the box, which includes taking risks that you normally wouldn't take so that you can succeed in this business. So I'm going to talk to you about that on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin Ain't Easy. And as I mentioned to you in the intro, sometimes you have to consider doing different things and sometimes taking a risk in order to succeed in this business. I think it's fairly safe to say for those of you who've been selling for many years, like 10 or more years on the eBay platform, that if you, since early 2000s, did the exact same thing up until today, you probably would find yourself out of business. I'm willing to bet that many of you that have sold on eBay for many years have done things differently, have approached things differently than you dealt with, say, 15 years ago. So for me, I can't just be stagnant and continue to do the same things that I did 2 years ago. It's a new year. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to follow eBay's model in making changes right before Q4. That's not the right time. In fact, eBay should be making changes right now, at least testing the waters on those changes, so that when we run into Q4 this year, we're not going to have the same problems that we continually encounter every Q4. Now, as it pertains to me, the changes that I'm considering, I'm definitely looking at adding auctions to what I currently do. I look at my inventory and, I'm just looking around at it and I'm adding more inventory on top of inventory. And I see that while some of my newer listings continually sell, a lot of my older stagnant inventory just sits here. And I lower the price. I keep lowering the price with my 0.2% decrease on a daily basis. You're talking a 0.2% discount, which is a very small increment. And yeah, well, I do it every day. It's still lowering my prices on a very gradual basis. And all the while, I'm still looking at stuff that's been sitting here and just not selling. And, I might be trying to sell that item for, let's say, 30, 40, 50 plus dollars. And it hasn't found the buyer that I need to buy the item. Now, if I'm into that item for $10, let's say, I can afford to maybe throw that item on auction at, let's say, a starting bid price at $4.99 plus calculated shipping. I like doing calculated shipping with auctions. So it's specific to their location. But just to move the item, to get the item out of here, if I can recoup, a good chunk of my cost or more, and in some cases I'll get more. I'm sure that if I cost average everything out, if I do daily auctions, that once I get the buyers to pay, that's the big concern I have, that at the end of the day, I'm going to make my money back. So I guess the question that I have to you, and it's really category specific, I guess, and that is the strategy of buying an item. Let's say your cost is $5 on something, and sitting on that until you find the right buyer that might be willing to pay you 40 or 50 bucks, versus buying that same $5 item and flipping it for, 15, 20 bucks plus shipping, and getting it out of your hair and being able to reinvest that same money back into a different, maybe hotter selling item. And for me, I'm looking at this inventory. If I have 450 items in my store, which is about right now, I'm willing to bet there's about 200 of those items that have been there for a while. And I'm thinking in terms also of my sell-through rate. If you tend to sell more, eBay will reward you in the algorithm because you're doing the right things, you're making a lot of sales. Now, I'm not complaining about my sales overall last year. As it compared to the year before, I was up 16% in my sales. But what I am concerned about is the last couple weeks has been very slow. But of course, we have to consider it's been the holidays. I'm sure many of you have been very slow. And this is sort of why, in my mind, I have this thought of January as being a very slow month when it's really not. But it tends to start slow. And because of that, you don't really tend to think as of January as being a busy month. But it does pick up. And let's hope that this year it does pick up like it normally does. So I guess in my mind, I tend to sometimes want to jump into making a change or doing something different, sort of as a reaction to previous sales. But I've done a lot of thinking about this. And for any of you guys who've watched my videos consistently, and hopefully many of you guys do, I'll put a link right there. And it's a video that I made not too long ago where I came across this seller who is selling their items at $4.99 to start. These are all auctions. And they had about 11,000 sales in the last 90 days and like 7,000 listings in their store. And almost all of those listings were auctions. Of course, they had help. That's not a one-man show. It's one of those things where I'm sure they have a warehouse and employees to pull it off. But scaling it down to my level, and my thought is this: right before a 30-day fixed listing item is about to refresh into a new 30-day period, I would go in and on a daily basis and either check the item to see if maybe I made a mistake in the title, made a mistake in the photo, maybe I need to swap some photos around, or maybe I just made a mistake somewhere and that's why it hasn't sold, or cutting my losses and listing that item at my cost plus calculated shipping on an auction basis and hope that maybe I get a little bit more than my cost and make a small profit on the item, cut ties with that item and invest that money into something else. Now, part of figuring that out would be to see the comps on that particular item and see if that item has even sold on auction at all. Now, I don't think I would ever really do that if I can't at least find one or more items, similar items that have sold on auction. So that's kind of my thoughts on this. It's something that I already started to do today. I have listed a few auctions. It's the end item sell similar process that I've told you guys about. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Maybe I'm overreacting a little bit to the market and maybe things are slow for everyone. But see, I can only see how things are for me. And I think sometimes we see how things are for ourselves and we really don't have a grasp of how things are going for others. So this is kind of an important video for me to bring to you because I want to know, and please put that down below, how your sales are doing. Nevertheless, I'm inspired by that video I made that really laid out how this person had their store set up with just auctions, must have been listing at their price plus shipping. And really the shipping was ridiculous. It was like $4.99 plus had to have been their cost. And it just made me wonder, how's this guy making money? Now, a lot of his items were selling at very close to the market price or where the comps show that the sales were very close to what he was able to get with auction. So that sort of gives me hope that maybe this experiment, I'm just going to be listing these auctions, I maybe get more than just what I paid for it. But either way, I'm not a storage unit. And it's going to allow me some space to store until they sell future items, because I'm doing things in my garage right now that's going to create more space. I want to scale a little bit and I need the space to do that, and to sit on items that have been sitting around for months just doesn't make sense to me. Now, if you are into collectibles, you bought something that's vintage for $5 and it's sort of an off the wall item, you can get $200, $300, $400 for the right buyer. certainly don't flip it for 10 just to get rid of it and move on. If you know that item has some value, then of course, wait for that right buyer. So that's why I said it's really category specific, because what a collectible or vintage and collectible seller may do with their old stock is a lot different than someone like me who buys and flips pallets. So your comments down below would be much appreciated. Wanted to give you guys a quick update. Not so much an update, but sort of a continuation from the last video where we're talking about the $600 threshold that eBay reports to the IRS. And what I didn't do and what I meant to do in that video was to explain to you what eBay had come out with, say, about 2 weeks ago on the 20th of December. And I'll show it to you here. The eBay seller news team says, we wanted to follow up with some additional information about how the new IRS reporting laws may affect you in 2022, and to let you know that this change requires us to collect Social Security numbers or individual tax identification numbers from all sellers who sell over a certain threshold. Now, of course, you sign up for managed payments, eBay wants that information anyway. And yes, you may not have hit that threshold of 20,000 last year, but eBay wants it because they don't know how you're going to do this year as compared to last. So they're going to treat everyone the same when it comes to collecting that information. Starting on January 1st, 2022, U.S. tax reporting requirements will require all online marketplaces and businesses like eBay, which processes payments, to issue a Form 1099-K to sellers who receive $600 or more in gross payments. Previously, only sellers with 200 or more transactions and at least $20,000 in annual sales received a Form 1099-K. The new requirements may impact the 2022 tax return that you will file in 2023 next year. What's changing with the new requirement? Starting next month, when your 2022 sales reach $600, you will be asked to provide your full 9-digit Social Security number or individual tax identification number before you can continue to sell on eBay. If you have not previously provided your full 9-digit SSN or ITN, we will alert you in your account and send you an email requesting this information when you reach the sales threshold. So if eBay has not already asked you for your social or your tax identification number, which they should have, but if they haven't, maybe you haven't sold a lot, maybe you're just a passive seller, and this year you sell at least $600 worth of stuff, don't be surprised if eBay comes and wants your Social Security number before they allow you to sell anymore. This is eBay's take on it, not mine. I'm just reporting to you what they have here that they put out 2 weeks ago. Now, I'll go ahead and continue here. It says what the IRS does and doesn't tax. You should also know that many sales on eBay aren't taxable. So even if you have $600 or more in sales and we issue you a 1099-K, you won't necessarily be taxed on those sales because in most cases, you wouldn't owe any taxes on something you sold for less than what you paid for it. Remember, that's what we talked about in that video, and I'll put it right up here again. That's the video I just did a couple days ago. For example, if you bought a bike for $1,000 last year and then sold it on eBay today for $700, it's unlikely that you would be subject to income tax because your sale price was less than the price you paid for the item. We encourage you to talk to a tax professional when reviewing your 1099-K to determine whether you have taxable income and how to report amounts listed on your 1099-K. And then the ad will continue to keep you updated ongoing into 2022. Look for emails and alerts from us that will help explain what's changed and what you may need to do next. In the meantime, you can learn more in our FAQ on eBay. So that's eBay's take on it. So it echoes a lot of what I said in the previous video that I made, but I just wanted to show that to you to reinforce what we were talking about in that video. And if you haven't watched it, please go and check it out. It speaks to that. And again, if you're selling items on eBay at a profit, that's when you need to worry about reporting this to the IRS. Now, of course, you meet or exceed that $600 threshold, you're probably going to need, in some way, shape, or form, and contact your CPA because I'm not one, you're going to need to at least demonstrate that these were personal items and you sold them for a loss. So that's the update I wanted to provide you guys. Again, comment down below, give me your thoughts on this. And while you're at it, guys, if you enjoyed the content, if you appreciate the time and the effort that I make for these videos, please hit that like button. 2022, I plan on making videos every 2 to 3 days, so subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified when I go live or when another video is going to drop and you want to be one of the first ones to check it out, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when that happens. So guys, change with eBay is constant, and eBay is going to keep changing, and don't you get caught behind sort of in a stagnant position where you refuse to change. And it's the sellers that effectively change with the market, are going to be the ones that survive in this business. Whereas, you still may survive, but your sales may drop off and you're wondering what's going on. And that's why I bring you this content, to help you learn from my mistakes and to maybe give you some perspective as to, my thoughts. You might think totally differently and you might be right. I might be wrong. But hey, that's why I want you to comment down below. I do appreciate your thoughts whenever I make a video. And, whether you decide to make changes, this is a good time to do it. But it's just all another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great start to your week, and we will talk to you guys very soon.